Hi, I'm Melissa, and this is the Book Break. And today I'm excited to introduce you all to Cleo Wade, who, in addition to writing adult books, has a brand new children's book coming out. And her book is What the Road Said. We're going to watch a quick clip and then jump right into talking to her.
Hi, this is Cleo Wade, and I'm so excited to bring to you my new book, What the Road Said. It was really inspired by my own childhood, kind of all the questions I had that I wish I knew the answers to. This is really a conversation about finding yourself and staying curious and being vulnerable, and how all of those things are a part of being a leader. I wrote this for my inner child. It ended with being for my daughter, and I hope you enjoy it.
Cleo, I would love to hear a little bit more about this because I love that this book is super inspirational, and you mentioned how it started with questions from your childhood. Tell us a little more.
Yeah, this book really came to be because I wanted to write a love letter to my childhood self. I wanted to give her all of the advice she never got, or maybe when she was getting advice on those topics, they were bad advice. And so this book is really personal to me because I had to go into some of, the low points of being a kid, where you're alone or lonely, or the first times you feel shame, or the first time you feel someone being unkind to you, or the first time you're unkind to someone. There's so much that I really did this deep dive on emotionally. And then about halfway through the process, I became pregnant with my own daughter. So what started out as a book for my childhood self ended up being a book for my daughter, and ended up being also the words I needed as a mother.
Yeah, I love that. And I have children myself too. And I got to sit down with my 6-year-old daughter and read this book with her. And I love that this inspires them to realize it's gonna be good. What the road said, it's okay, like you mentioned, if things go wrong. And so your daughter now is how old?
1.
Awesome. And what is it that you're hoping to convey to children about themselves and to their parents? Because I think this is inspirational for both.
I just want to take them through the hard and tough, complicated questions, whether it's, what if I go the wrong way? There's a point in the book where the traveler says, what if, which way do I go? And the road says, that is your choice to make. And the traveler says, well, what if I go the wrong way? And the road says, don't worry, that's okay. Sometimes we go the wrong way on our way to the right way. And so it's really about giving yourself grace and being gentle with yourself on your journey so that you can have the ability to keep going, and so I thought a lot about, what are things that make us feel stuck? Where do we get stuck? Do we get stuck in shame? We get stuck in fear. We get stuck in not knowing what to do in a confrontation. We get stuck in, trying to skip to the ending and just worry about the destination and can't enjoy the journey, so I really try to just address all of those things so that our travelers can have, journeys that are filled with love and compassion and empathy, in turn making them the leaders of their own lives.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And in addition to being an author, you're a poet, which I can hear just from listening to you speak, and of course, reading your book. And you're also an activist as well. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I really just consider myself an active citizen. I just care about other people, and I work to build community, and I am not, I work to look at things that aren't fair and figure out how we can make it fair. And, I believe that we can live in a world where every single person's safe. And I just try to do whatever I can to make even just one more person feel safe each day. So that's really all.
That's great. And when you were writing this, tell us how you envisioned the art, because that's a big piece of a children's book is you're writing with, the goal in mind, but then you have to also be thinking about the art.
Well, I I had a really tough time finding an illustrator at first, and I looked at a ton of portfolios, and then finally because I really wanted something that felt hand painted and hand drawn, because that reminded me of the kids' books I liked when I was growing up. And so, I think that in that I was really looking for that kind of hand, drawn touch. And so I finally found this person who I'd happened to be following on Instagram for a long time. Her name is Lucie, and she's a painter who's kind of known for painting on shells. And she would sometimes paint, if she was traveling around the world and she was sitting on a train or sitting by a pool, she would just paint the scenery around her. And I was like, I think she'd be amazing to illustrate this book, but she'd never illustrated anything before. But my editor is amazing. And she was like, listen, the worst that can happen is she says no. And so we asked her, and we really felt so lucky that she said yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about that same thing. Is this really has the watercolor real paint feel to it, which I think is beautiful. And
yeah, that was very intentional.
Yeah. And you've also written adult books prior to writing this children's book. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
My adult books are Heart Talk and Where to Begin, and they're kind of a soulful journey for adults. And a lot of teens use them too. And I also, at the end of last year, put out the Heart Talk Journal, and it's a way that you can kind of dive deep within to kind of investigate ways to give yourself more love and care. And I really enjoy writing kind of words of, encouragement and comfort for adults and now kids and adults.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned before that you started this process before your daughter. How did it change once you also became a mother?
I think that it just, it shifted my perspective because, I was writing to the past. Originally I was writing, words that were, kind of to someone who had already been through some things, and writing words I wish that she would have had. And so when I had my daughter, I realized that, okay, well, what are the words and ideas or concepts I want her to begin life with? So before she has the hard day, what do I want her to be able to approach her problems with, what mindset? And so, that kind of shifted a little bit of like how the language went, and I think made the text all the more beautiful.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I agree. It's very beautiful, very beautifully written. So that's great. And where can our viewers learn more about you?
You can go to my Instagram, which is at Cleo Wade, and you can get this book wherever you buy books. You can get What the Road Said at any bookstore that sells books. And of course, we always want you to shop local and get one at your local bookstore. But you can get this anywhere in the world that sells a book.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Cleo. It's been great.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us on the book break. We'll see you next time.